a chance to breathe. Why should the administrators do the same? We are headed straight into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. AEON versus WE. AEON on the Radiant with the 1-0 lead. WE on the Dire. First question, will we see a Pudge ban?
Oh, I don't think we'll see it banned in the first 3. I don't think they're that worried about it. We may see it being a 4th or 5th ban here, but you just can't resort to banning that with your first 3 bans. I mean, sure, and they've not to mention they've also not got the first pick, so it'll just leave so much in the pool for AEON to get their hands on, and it just sort of shows that you were rattled by that last game. Just psychologically speaking, you have to say, nah, we can. If they go for a Pudge again in those first 3 picks, we will deal with it. Banning out 4th or 5th, I think, is fine, but we're not going to see it in the first 3 bans. I'd be shocked if we did, to say the least.
No, you're completely right, and that is the cool, calm, and collected analysis that we all love from Gods. And you know, this is just me with my unbridled enthusiasm. That Pudge definitely made some big hooks, but of course, it was the overall strategy that won them the game.
Yeah.
The bans here: Darkseer, Invoker. The Prophet is in the pool. The Chen's in the pool. Couple of strong heroes to go. It's hard to.
This is for me. If this was GST after a game like that, I would just put up the bans and picks, turn on some music, and just go for a breath of fresh air. Just let the viewers do the ban and pick analysis. Just say, nah, that was too much, guys. I'm taking a smoko. You guys do the bans and picks. I'll be back when the game begins. But this is some important stuff, because this is if World Elite loses, their chances of getting that TI2 spot are completely gone, completely shattered. So we'll see what they are going to give AEON to the first pick here as Invoker, Prophet. Chen still in the pool. We'll see whether or not World Elite ban that. Last game they banned up both the junglers. I'd say they may go for something similar here. Lycanol's also in the pool, though. That could also cause them some problems, though.
It's going to be a Panda ban. They're forcing their hands here of WE a little bit. They're gonna go ahead and ban the Lycan. So the question is, what is left? Off the top of my head, let me go ahead and bring up the full list of
Chen
heroes.
and Winrun are the main ones here, I'd say.
We could
and then you've got heroes like Leshrac as well. So if whatever they go for, I mean, there's still 2 strong heroes for World Elite. If they go for the Chen, you get Winrun and Leshrac as World Elite. They don't always go for the Leshrac. I mean, they like their Earthshaker. They may go for that Earthshaker on, I think it's normally, I don't know who plays their Earthshaker. Lately, it hasn't been Chan or Veronica playing their Earthshaker, although that was his sort of trademark hero in Dota 1. And it's going to be a Queen of Pain, in fact. So they're not going for any of those options. They really want this Queen of Pain pick.
Oh, they're giving away the Windrunner Chen combo, and World Elite slams that down. Zero hesitation. Such a strong defensive combination. Such a strong combination. Even later on in the game, I mean, as far as the 2 junglers go, Enchantress and Chen offers you so much in the mid-game with his ability to send allies back to base, keep them alive with that heal. Of course, the pushing power. It's a very strong defensive opening for World Elite. 2 heroes they're going to be pleased to get their hands on. I'm a little surprised to see AEON leave the Chen in the pool as well as the Windrunner if they weren't going to take at least one themselves. Sure, they got the Queen of Pain, but I'm not sure that World Elite... I mean, I guess World Elite might have taken that for themselves. I'm not sure this is worth giving away those 2 heroes, but they could surprise me with these next 2 picks. Who will they go for?
Well, for me, this is okay. They can go for a hard carry, because neither of those heroes can do the early mass push and really take down a hero like Anti-Mage or Morphling. Alternatively, they could go for a similar kind of style of play to last game, where they get maybe a Sand King and a Leshrac here, or even a Leshrac and a Pudge here if they really want that Pudge badly and don't want to see it get banned out here. But they could go for a Sand King, Leshrac, and then try to get 4th or 5th pick with a Pudge or some other aggressive if I imagine if World Elite, if there's no aggressive heroes coming out from AEON here, World Elite will pick up either the Anti-Mage or Morphling. But if AEON go for a high-pressure, strong mid-game, they may force World Elite not to go for one of those hard carries, the Anti-Mage or Morphling. And we'll see what they want to do here, whether or not AEON want to go for the similar kind of aggression to last game, or if they want to just play it safe with the hard carry. They're going to get the Earthshaker, so this looks like potential Morphling pick here, or maybe even the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, I think the Morphling is the pick to go with here. It gives you a little bit more edge. But no, the Sand King, so a big team fight lineup for AEON, a lot of initiation power. Queen of Pain, not the best initiator, but if you get up that fast BKB, she could definitely do the trick. Of course, we saw that Sand King with the Blink Dagger, how powerful he can be, and Earthshaker needs nothing to initiate. Very strong defensively as well. One of the best heroes to have if a Chen is tower divey early on, and we saw AEON versus Tongfu, they didn't have that Earthshaker. They only had a Pugna, and I forget who the other support here was, but some sort of single target support up in the safe lane, and we just saw Enchantress bully that lane with the 3 creeps early on. This time around, they're going to have that very strong defensive presence. Most likely in the safe lane, it could be in the off lane, but either way, a great hero to have up against that Shed. Of course, a great hero to have in the mid game as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is going to be World Elite with their third pick here. And I mean, they seem reluctant to go for one of those hard carries. I mean, Anti-Mage or Morphling, maybe they're deciding which one. Maybe they're deciding whether they want one at all, if they want to go for that DK kind of play. But they're going to go with the Morphling. There's your hard carry. And I'd say Morphling a bit more versatile than Anti-Mage. He can be a bit stronger in lane. You can put him in a sort of a bit of a tougher lane and still get some farm, use those nukes, and also maybe just go for a bottle to keep himself alive. Second stage of bans. I mean, I guess World Elite will want to ban out the Anti-Mage just so they have the hardest carry in the game, but at the same time, I think World Elite are better off giving AEON the chance to pick Anti-Mage, because in those sort of long late game sort of style of play, style of games, it's normally World Elite who will come out on top. It's the high aggression mid-game style of games where AEON have the advantage, I feel.
They do, and if they want to go... I mean, we've actually seen... Okay, in their first series of this tournament, I believe it was against MSI, they picked these three heroes, I remember this clearly, and a Pudge. I forget who the fifth was. That gives you 4 incredibly high-impact mid-game heroes to work with. They have room for the Pudge. And if I recall correctly, they did those jungling shenanigans. They can't pull to that safe camp, or the small camp this time. They could still do some lane pulling, so I'm not sure if we'll see it, but the option is available to them. If they want to go that route. Prophet is going to get banned out here. That's another hero Aeon's like to run. And going back to the more standard Aeon play, Dragon Knight is another one of their favorites. You could easily see him picked up here if he's not banned out. I would not be surprised at all to see WE make their 5th ban a Dragon Knight. He's just so... He fits in perfectly with the heroes they've already picked up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And the last couple of bans, I mean, coming out here, we're seeing just, well, so far support here is being banned from Aeon. I mean, the Vengeful Spirit is something they're a bit worried about. The swap can, of course, cause some positioning problems when Aeon... I mean, the fact they're banning out VS makes me think that Aeon want to be fairly aggressive, because VS is one of those heroes that can save whoever gets initiated on. And, I mean, if they get fissured, VS can swap them out of position. Same for the Burrow Strike. And they're banning out the Shadow Shaman as well. It is one of the support heroes that World Elite like to run as a sort of secondary support in the number 4 spot, but at the same time, they will give him some farm, make sure he can get up some arcane boots and some, well, either braces, a blink dagger, or force staff, something to help him out in the mid-game. And as a result, there's your Pudge ban, and not really surprised by that. Even with 2 melee heroes already on the Aeon side, Pudge would definitely have been an option for them based on how last game did go.
Yeah, big respect ban here for the Pudge, and Shadow Shaman gets the ban, a very, very smart ban, and even though the Shadow Shaman didn't work out, I thought it was one of the strongest and most important heroes in World Elite, especially before things fell apart in the mid-game. He was setting up ganks, getting on the towers. Oh, we're going to see a Clinks. This is something that Tong Fu struggled against, and we could definitely see World Elite struggle here as well. It's picked against a very similar lineup to the one Tong Fu was running. Although they didn't have a hard carry, they had heroes like Windrunner and the Chen, who are pretty susceptible to that quick Orchid. Gives them another strong lane here to work with, so it looks like we're going to see probably a Clinks of the safe lane, a Queen of Pain mid, and I guess we're going to see a 2-1-2, and maybe... How are they going to lay this? I'm thinking some sort of a defensive solo up top, maybe the Earthshaker supporting him?
Yeah, it could well be. I think they want Clinks in the safe lane, and definitely the Sanking and Earthshaker with both as supports. I don't know if that's the best step here. They even need to run dual lanes, or even Sanking as a solo. I mean, I think they may be considering running Sanking as a side lane solo. They could pick up a jungle if they want to have some kind of, well, have a dual lane and make sure they maximize their XP again, or they may just run some sort of a tri-lane or a dual support. I mean, just pick up a Crystal Maiden here, have CM and ES roam around, helping whichever lane they needed it, and it's gonna be a bane. This is a popular European support hero, but not something I've seen picked ever. I mean, by a Southeast Asian team, or even a Chinese team, and I cannot remember a Bane pick.
Is it gonna be a Bane tri-lane? Maybe it'll be it's such a weird pick, and I'm not sure how they're... Again, I go back to the lanes for them. I mean, Bane is a hero where you really want to get that quick level 6, and equally importantly, max out Brain Sap, which is I believe it's a 300 damage, pure damage nuke. It really hits hard. Also does allow you to get that lifesteal. Bane is a hero who can really dominate in the mid lane. Well, he doesn't have great push, but he has fantastic last hitting, good animation, 600 range, and he's got that Brain Sap to work with, which can allow you to hit pretty hard. He's a great setup hero for Sand King, as well as Earthshaker. I think what we might see from Aeon is some early roaming, whether it's the Bane, the Earthshaker, or the Sand King. Maybe 2 of these 3 heroes will be roaming early, and then we'll have 3 heroes sort of sitting in the lane. We could also see the 2-1-2, but I don't know how well Bane fits in if you want to have that defensive dual lane. He's not the best in that situation. He is fairly easy to pick off. I mean, Bane Earthshaker is decent defensively, but it's not going to shut down a Morphling's farm. We'll have to wait and see. WE picks into a Crystal Maiden, so a very standard lineup for them here. Expect to see that Windrunner off in the Suicide and the Morphling in a up top with protected by maybe the Crystal Maiden, might be a solo Morphling, could be a solo mid Morphling, but most likely it would be Slardar mid and then Crystal Maiden helping out one of those two lanes with Chen in a defensive jungle.
Yeah, I think going back to the Bane pick, I think the strength is it's kind of like an Ogre Magi, is that he's fairly tanky. It's a hard to kill support hero. He's got two skills that help him stay alive, both Nightmare and Brain Sap, and he's just naturally got high base strength. He is kind of weak because he doesn't have any sort of, doesn't have great initiate. I mean, the Nightmare can be used as an initiating spell, but it's not like a direct stun, and it's not like he has massive firepower or slows. I mean, the Brain Sap does do some decent damage, but I think it can work. I mean, you can set up either a Sand King stun or an ES Fissure, and just play in a defensive laning setup where you're just making sure Clinks get farmed, and come mid-game with a level 6 Bane, you can easily be getting kill after kill whenever you do have that Fiend's Grip up.
Well, AEON started off last game with a Bane. They went for a lot of aggression. They placed a ward behind the tier 1 tower. Let's see if they're going to do it again. They do have wards picked up on that Bane. Clinks is headed here. 5 heroes grouped up already. Will World Elite fall into this trap? Will they be prepared? Last time they only had an Invoker up in that safe lane, and he was sitting all the way back at the tier 2 tower. It looks like World Elite might be playing it the same way. Very smart movement by World Elite, hugging the tree line here. Even if they get spotted, they will probably be able to get back. Kent is leading the way, looking to do some scouting. You could tell World Elite is expecting some aggression, and they're moving correctly to minimize the chance of getting picked off.
Yep. Oh yeah, and they're just going to stay in issues. I mean, Sim especially, just staying hidden. Slardar as well will join her in the jungle for a little picnic there. A romantic date between those two. As ES Sand King Bane, this is, I don't know, is this going to stay a trial lane at top? Clinks is heading towards either the mid or bottom lane, and it may be even Clinks at mid by the way they're setting this up. And this is not what I would have expected from either team entirely. Morphling is going to be mid as a solo. I would have maybe said Slardar solo mid, but he has gone for the Stout Shield, plenty of branches. Morphling's going to be mid. He's got the Wraith Band. He's been pulled either Tango or the Salve, one of those two, and it's going to be Clinks up against Morphling. That's a pretty good lane for Clinks. Should be okay lasting-wise, although the Wraith Band will help Morphling. And then bottom lane, Queen of Pain up against Windrunner. That's a lane which Queen of Pain has the advantage in, although, well, especially with this 2 Mantles build, this is going to give Queen of Pain a lot of early game damage boost, as well as more mana to spam. So I like Queen of Pain's chances there. You just need to go for the level 2 Shadow Strike at level 3 and really just harass a Windrunner out of the lane.
So it is going to be this offensive tri-lane, and Crystal Maiden has to be very, very careful. Even the Slardar, once these heroes hit, let's say, level 2, or particularly 3, because that Brain Sap will be a level... Oh, Fissure to initiate, not going to be on the right side. If it did, I believe Icy was dead. Might have been able to tango his way through. Would have taken all of the tangos. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty strong offensive tri-lane. I'm not sure they'll be able to get these pulls off unless Chen rotates in, which I expect to see him making his presence felt in this lane, if only to put a bit of a scare into AEON. And you're oohing. And
CM is struggling with this creep pull. Trying to deward it, trying to find out where the observer ward is. It is below the camp. The first sentry failed. She actually used a Tango to try find it. But what she's found instead is this small camp, which has been stacked as well. So 3 of those creeps will be pulled away. So that's the beauty of being on this dire side, is that there's so much room for error. If you mess up the creep pull in one location, you can go to the small camp. You can pull that to the bigger camp on the far right. If the lane gets pushed, you can pull the big camp on the far left. There's so many options as on the dire side, which really makes that safe lane so easy to win when it's a tri lane versus tri lane.
It's something you can't actually do in Dota 1, and it's a bit of a difference in Dota 2, so... You know, whether that's...
I thought you couldn't, but I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. I recently played Dota 1. I'm like, I've never seen teams do this in Dota 1, and you can do it.
Oh, middle lane.
It's just something, I guess, I don't know if someone figured it out.
I thought you couldn't. Oh, bottom lane, Queen of Pain, first blood! Going the way of the king. That is the lane that we expect Queen of Pain to have the advantage in. It's not a lane we expect to see a kill quite this early, especially with only Shadow Strike. Yes, it is very powerful, but the burst damage is normally what is the undoing of Windrunner, and Windrunner off to an awful start. 2 levels behind. This lane is over for her, especially being in that suicide lane. No pulling, no support because it is a defensive jungle Chen. And hey, when you pick up a hero like Morphling and Slardar, it's going to leave Windrunner out on an island. The king is taking full advantage.
Yeah, no, he really is, and that's what Radiant's side need. I mean, Ken is doing all right at mid lane, although Morphling, with that early pressure, getting him down low will slow down his farm. Morphling looking probably for an early bottle here. And top lane, I mean, the tri lane, they are winning it, but the creep pulls is going to mean this tri lane are going to be fairly under-leveled. ES and Bane cannot have a massive impact, although they're using these creep pulls of their own. That's what you have to do on the Radiant side. If they're pulling those small camps, if they're even pulling the normal pull spot, you pull the camp yourself. This big camp can be pulled on over, and you just have to deny XP right back at them and they're going to do as much as they can with that, as we will see Chen with a Wildkin. This is a pretty useful creep to have against a Trailing, just throwing that Tornado in, and something you may even see a Fissure or a Nightmare being used just to prevent it from harassing them down.
Looks like Fanti wanted to walk. This is something that you will see a lot of more experienced Morphlings do, the walk up to the creep wave and then waveform away. A little bit more defensive way to farm. Also, if the enemy race here is trying to harass you, gets too close, you can damage them with that. And this middle lane, we haven't talked about it because there hasn't really been any killing, although Ken got low at one point. 9 and 6 on the Morphling, 11 and 4 Ken, so a bit even, but both of these heroes care a lot more about last hits than denies, so let's give the edge to Ken, although it is a small edge. He's got an early Soul Ring, that's going to allow him to really harass with these fire arrows, and once he hits level 6, as I say that, Ken is going to eat away for him. So blows being traded, Ken does not want to be fighting from the low ground here, but yeah, once Ken hits level 6, he could definitely start to dominate this lane and take it over. He's also got more survivability, or sustainability, I should say, than that Morphling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's one of those things where he may have to actually curry out some sales for himself now. He's going to get level 6 soon, but he's running low on HP, and he can't really use that Soul Ring when he's already this low, as Morphling will probably have no sign of a bottle. Actually, one of his bottles is on the courier. It looks like they're doing bottle chrome, but they've only got the one flying courier, and both bottom lane and mid lane need to do that. They're just in such a bad situation. He's probably going to have to go to this Morphling first. He is the more important one, and he is struggling as top lane. Uh-oh, another kill. Invis ES. This... I mean, if they get a fissure block, it should be a kill. Oh, no.
He whiffs the fissure.
I don't think, they're not going to commit to this, because Winranix does have the tower advantage there. What a shackle shot. Only level 1, though, but still, some revenge damages. It's top lane, though. World Elite get a kill there with some Sentry Ward. Sim and Chen coming in. They take out Bane. The Sentry's not going to be all that useful for killing the Sand King, who doesn't have any points in Sandstorm until just now. But a nice gank there coming out from Chen, getting finally World Elite on the scoreboard.
You know, that gank by Mr. Q, that was one of those situations where he tried to go for the perfect fissure, but really all he needed to get the kill was a fissure that hit the hero. They have enough burst damage to bring down this under-leveled, under-farmed Windrunner. And a big blunder there. Still, Queen of Pain has her ultimate, also has a level 2 Scream to work with. Once she gets a level or 2 more, she can burst down this Windrunner from full HP, and right there what we saw was the power of Shackle Shot, even at level 1, definitely saved. Interestingly, this Windrunner has opted for 2 points to Windrun, not going for that level 3 power shot. It shows you how fearful she is for her life and how important it is for that Windrunner not to die. I don't mind this adjustment and the skill build at all. It is going to make her a little bit less impactful in an offensive situation, but for right now, her job is just not to die, get the levels, and try and slow down the Kane, who will be looking to get some kills and push this tower down soon.
Yeah, this is something that the Chinese teams, they love that second point in win run on those solo win run. They almost always do that, whether it's up against a Trailing. Even in 1v, if you're in a tough 1v1 matchup as well, it's still good, especially when they can be ganks coming in. The Earthshaker has moved towards the bottom lane, so we are seeing a bit of lane movements happening. Sand King, though, a lot of farm at this top lane. He's already got his Arcane Boots, 23 CS, 11 denies. I think he may, in fact, oh no, he's just behind the Clinks, and Morphling on 20 at mid. So AEON, the heroes at both, heroes in all 3 lane farming well. Queen and Pain actually on 28. So if you look at the CS boards, AEON, 3 heroes really dominating, and the Dire side slightly behind. They're all around the 20 mark, whereas AEON are around the mid to late 20s. So slight advantage to AEON. And we will see Ken with a DD rune. Look at this. He just hurts this Morphling. He's going to force Morphling to continue to bottle Crow. And that's going to limit what World Elite can do with this courier. They can't bring out items for Slardar. Slardar cannot get his boots. His boots are on the stash, but this is just, with Windrunner and the Morphling trying to bottle Crow, it's just so hard for them to get those items out.
Oh, they want to set up a gank here. They do have Crystal Maiden, who can hold Clinks in place, and that will reveal him while he's in Viz. Do they have any Sentry Wards, though, to follow up? No, they don't. This is actually looking to be a fail. No, they do have Dust on the Chen, so they could look to pick him off, but Clinks is so difficult to lock down. He's going to hit level 7. Has not opted for a point yet in Strafe, and Strafe actually... Has he taken a point in stats? It looks like he has. Yes, taking a single point stats just for a little bit of extra survivability, and WE has some decent bursts, so not a surprise. I have to say this dual lane is not doing too badly top. Slardar is hitting level 6. They're a bit under-leveled, but they have the fast Arcane Boots and Sand King, which really... is what you need, is that mono region, especially with a hero like Bane, who's got a very expensive nuke. Brain Sap costs you 150 damage only at level 2.
They haven't died. They've got those levels, but they haven't got much farm. I mean, Slardar CS currently only sitting on 11 CS to the Sand King, who's at 24 CS. Going to have that blink there up as fast as possible. He's actually just going to swing mid from out now, so it looks like they want to kill on this Morphling, but Morphling's ball has returned. He has already just used all of those charges. He's going to hope for a rune this time around. Same for the Windrunner. Windrunner's going to camp it out at bottom. Maybe Morphling will go top, or we'll just see some ball crowing here as Morphling really struggling. And he's going to bring out what looks to be his Ring of Aquila and probably even go for another Bottle Crow, as the Rune is going to spawn bottom. Windrun are actually going to leave it for Morphling if possible, but here comes the ES, going to try steal it, and it's going to get left, and ES will ninja this Rune. Oh, that is not what that Morphling wanted.
Just one of those things where the timing happened not to be perfect. Chan is actually slept onto the tower, but he will be okay. They're going to juggle the sleep. Icy is now slept, and this is he'll be okay. I'm not sure I would have the Crystal Maiden be the one juggling the sleep. There are 2 Chen creeps available. Probably the better. Here's that situation, and that's another thing to keep in mind about this Bane versus a Chen, something we haven't talked about at all, but sleep is not going to be effective if Chen is on his game. Not only the big creeps can be used to jungle it, if you have, say, 2 Skeleton Warriors to work with, and the Dark Troll Warlord, even those can take over the sleep. Fissure on the bottom lane, I believe this will be another death for GG. He's bottling through that Shadow Strike, one more blink and an auto attack. I think that will be enough. GG going to the trees, he's going to TP out. Oh, she gets away. That's a big loss. Queen of Pain ult is early. You really want to get kills for that. Slaughter eats a Burrow Strike. Ult is up, and it's applied to tsuwamon immediately. And that's really going to help them up top. If they ever get an advantage here, they could definitely use that to chase down Sandcane. We will not be seeing any Sandstorm shenanigans any longer.
Yeah, and he's even got that one early point in Cosmic Finale just for the added harass on Slaughter. Make it even harder for him to last here. He's going in for this kill, though, perhaps, as it looks like he will back off now. Both Bane and Sandking level 5, they will both 2 heroes who are dependent on their level 6 ultimates, especially now that we are about 10 minutes into the game, and Chen CM may go looking for another gank on them. They want to get their level 6s as fast as possible, although in a 3v2 scenario, that Bane ulti probably not going to be able to get casted or do all too much. Same goes for the Epicenter, although they may get one of them. I imagine we are going to see some potential blood being spilled on one of these 2 heroes here. There's the amp damage once again being dropped. Sandking needs to retreat, and retreat very soon. Here comes the counter TP, though. Yes, in position.
Are you serious? Oh, what a time for a pause. The gank is revealed.
Oh, man.
Lag is called. Let's take a look at the pings here. Mr. Keo does have about 400 ping. So I guess he really is lagging. That's just unfortunate. There you go. His ping is back down. So it was a justified pause, but one of the most unfortunate possible times for it to come out. With this TPN from ES, I could see this going very poorly for WE, especially given their positioning. That's a 2-hero Burrow Strike. You follow that up with a Fissure. There is a Chen heal, though, and that could mean all the difference in the world. tsuwamon, crucially, 5 EXP from his ultimate.
And Slaughter's far away. That's another big thing. Sure, Sandking will get a double stun off here. There's a double stun. CM just going to get burst down with a Fissure. Chen, no chance to heal. Will drop it now. And that pause probably helped out Anne a little bit, unfortunately. But Sandking will go down. So it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. And that's a 1-for-1 trade, which favors World Elite. And they're not actually done. Slaughter going to get another kill. And that, for me, is a bit of a mistake from AEON. They could have got a kill and got out. They could have just killed CM and ran. But they wanted the Chen as well. And Slaughter just came in and punished them. And they had all that time in the pause to sort of figure out a game plan there, but I don't feel like they came up with the best one.
It was a 1-for-1 trade. Sandking is level 6 now. With those quick Arcane Boots, expect to see the Sandking, and he's going for an Urn. I like this choice a lot. Against WE's lineup, you need to be ganking. Sure, you might not kill the Morphling or the Slardar, but they have heroes like the Clinks, the Queen of Pain, who can be so aggressive, set up kills nicely. Nuts, no ultimate yet. He's going to start with the Sleep. Burrow Strike into Epicenter is the likely combo. No, we're going to see an Epicenter first, followed by a Burrow Strike. If he can get it off, the Fissure to follow. tsuwamon just barely getting past that. Will they have enough to bring him down? 1 more auto attack, maybe 2. He's not going to go down. Morphling with the counter kill, and we're going to see the chase continue. Chen setting Slaughter back to base. Mr. Keo, it looks like he's going to go down next. Indeed, he's in a lot of trouble. Couple more right clicks should do the trick here, and he's just going to sacrifice himself. tsuwamon can do nothing but walk away. The King is looking to go back in. They're going to counter initiate. Will they actually be able to pick anyone off? Icy, Burrow Strike in range. It's not going to hit. They're going to go for the Chen instead. Not a bad choice. The ult as well. 2 big kills from this Queen of Pain. A signature hero for AEON. She's opted for a very fast Perseverance, but if you're getting those early kills, it's not a bad item to pick up. And in comes the Bane as well. Is he level 6? Still not level 6. They really need that ultimate. Ooh. Could easily set up a kill on the Morphling if they had one.
He's close, though. Very close. 1 or 2 of these skeletons, and he's going to get there. He's sitting on 8 XP away. And with just Morphling alone at this top lane, that's a potential kill for them, although we will see Morphling heading back towards that middle lane. Excuse me, as it is Queen of Pain camping out this room. Going to have to compete with Morphling for it, and it is going to be a regen. There goes to the Queen of Pain. Immediate Shadow Strike. We'll see Scream as well. Actually, no, he's out of mana. Going to have to blink out. Slaughter coming in, ready for an amp damage if needed, as Morphling will TP home. This is, I like this play for Morphling. Get the replicate, then TP home, and then you can replicate right back in.
Yeah, what a time for a regen rune. It seemed like, oh, on the bottom lane, it looks like this Windrunner may go down again. Shackle shot, not going to latch. I think she might have been able to just run away. Oh, she will be okay, just able to get out of range. And that's the power of the early phase boots, though the Burrow Strike is not going to hit. Not really sure why tsuwamon went for that. Queen of Pain, meanwhile, up top, picks up another kill. Just having a field day, really. The King, that early start, he's taking full advantage of it.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I agree that the early perseverance is good for the region, especially when he's gone for the 2 null talismans. He's going to have such great early mid-game presence. He can just go for that Lincoln Sphere. The Linkers will help against the Windrunner, Shackles, the Frostbite. There's even just Slardar amp damage, keeping track of him, and I think it's a smart pickup. And now CM at top should go down to the Queen of Pain, and that's another easy kill for King, who's now picked up a 5-0 mega kill streak. Mid lane, though, World Elite starting to put on some pressure for some of these towers. They're yet to take a tower with this Chen, and that's something they need to start doing.
Yeah, something that I've noticed for AEON is this is actually very good farm on Ken. He does have an Oblivion Staff up. He stopped for power trades as well as the Soul Ring. It's a lot of sort of small items. He's not going to get the deny on the tower. That last hit goes to Chen, who's probably getting close to Mechanism. Sorry, he already has that Mechanism. And 700 gold. This is a very farm Chen for 13 minutes in, especially considering that he assisted a lot top. But yeah, the Orchid, in spite of Clink's great farm, it's still a couple of minutes away, and you know, it's still going to be a pretty early Orchid, but that might be the time WE need, especially with that mech on Chen and the heal to be able to keep some heroes alive. Top lane, Nuts, he's caught out. Looks like he should go down. He's going to go for the TP. Nice, that's a good time to juggle that sleep, and down he goes.
Yeah. That was, and I have to agree, right now it's coming down to AEON not really pressuring many towers, not getting the tower gold, and that's going to slow down any of their item progression. I mean, the Clinks, the Orchid, you've seen it around the 13 or 14 minute mark in the past, but because they haven't got any towers, it's not really happening. But they're going to try to get this mid tier 1 tower. Ken is there, he's got the strafe, he may just want to pop that here and start right from around the tower as this kill on the tower. If they go to Ken, that's going to be a fast Orchid. Top lane though, Sankin goes in, Epicenter, there's a fissure as well. He's going to get the Epicenter off, but it's not going to do enough damage. There's a Chen with a mech. Hand of God will be up soon. In comes Ken. He gets amped. Sentry Ward goes down. Big overextension. Big misplay from him. And World Elite will get 2 kills on 2 key heroes, and they're not done. They're going to chase down the Earthshaker as well, perhaps. Fiend's Grip onto the Slardar. No ES ulti. He's only level 5. Not going to get the kill there. The Hand of God helping keep Slardar alive. Nice play from World Elite, knowing their limits, although Slardar really pushing his right to the edge, and then Chen was there to help keep him alive. And World Elite not getting just 1, they're getting 2 towers and 2 key hero kills.
Oh, the King, he really wants to go on this Slardar, as well as all the squishy heroes. Will he actually do it, though? Bane, I believe he slept. Not sure what he slept there, but whatever it was either juggled or not important. The King has revealed himself. Oh, the denied Crystal Maiden, gonna be able to get the last hit. No deny, and the King just can't find an opening. Oh, he's gonna go anyway. Shadow Strike onto Chan. Shackle 2 heroes. There's the quad pull. Everyone for AEON is melting right now. They finally pick off the Slardar, but just such an expensive kill. Sandcade's still dead for 30 seconds. Actually, nobody died. Is the King able to get the courier? One auto tech, one more auto tech after that. Just not going to be quite enough, and World Elite are going to be chasing him down. He should be able to get away. Is he still going for this courier? There's no way he's catching it now. That speed burst just a bit too much. They do get the Slardar, but at the expense of 2 towers, as well as a death onto the Sand King, who has not made any progression since picking up that quick Urn Arcane Boots. I think it's time for Sand King to farm that Blink.
Oh yeah, I mean that was, but once they lost those 2 towers, it was an okay trade, but from the start it was just, they weren't in position to defend. They TP'd, and that Clink's TP was an absolute disaster. It's going to slow down any sort of item that he wants to go for, and he's going to have to really just go, much like the Sand King, needs to just go farm. All of AEON just need to sort of sit back, calm their nerves, and realize that this is not a game where they can just go at World Elite with the same kind of aggression they did last game. Otherwise, World Elite will punish them. They've got the heals from the Chen ulti as well as the mech. They've got the Holy Persuasion to help save heroes. They've got Slardar, who's just so tanky and hard to take down, and they just need to farm, get those key items, try to get a tower hero there if it's possible with some counter pushing. But for the most part, it is just going to come down to farming in the safest ways possible, which right now appears to be the neutrals for Clinks.
Push is going to go the other way top. The King, I'm not sure what he's going to go for. Will this be a Lincoln Sphere or a Bloodstone? We'll have to wait and see. Either is possible. Lincoln Sphere, maybe not the best item pickup this game, because especially against that amplified damage. Such a spammable spell. And then if you look at World Elite across all their heroes, Of course, the Chen creeps, some of those have single target nukes, and then a lot of other single target spells as well. We'll have to see. Bloodstone could be a good pickup, although it's already, in spite of the Queen of Pain being very involved in kills, 81 CS at this stage of the game. It's good. It's not out of this world, and so it's not going to be a particularly fast Bloodstone, especially with the towers. While this was all happening, there was an Aegis picked up. That's going to go the way of Chan. And now you have to kill the Slardar twice on top of the mech, on top of his natural tankiness, as well as that Chen ultimate. It's going to be very difficult. Wind run in from GG. He wants to go for the Shackle. It's not going to hit. Will they be able to engage? No, defensive fissure should put an end to any... No, actually, sorry, that's not going to put an end to anything. Mr. Q is going to get caught out. Looks like he will go down, sleep onto the Slardar. They should just let Mr. Q die. TP out from the King. Will Bane be able to get away? TP out right in the trees here. Not going to go too deep. Power shot spot him out, but he will get away.
Ooh,
close
just.
call.
And, I mean... Something to be of note is it feels World have a lot of momentum. These last few fights and clashes going their way. They've got the Aegis, they've got those 2 towers at top, but ultimately AEON were quite far ahead early on. The gold graph is actually still in AEON's favor. All these recent clashes have only just brought it back to even. Same goes for the XP. It's actually dead even right now. So AEON, I mean, they've just got to realize mentally that they're still... I mean, they know this game's obviously it's nowhere near over. It's still quite even, but this is not even in World Elite's favor. It's just they have the momentum. AEON just have to regroup, gather themselves, get up these core items, and then they'll be in a really good position. Get the Lincolns on Queen of Pain, get Ken his Orchid, and try and get Sand King and Blink Dagger. Or actually, Sand King, he's only 100 gold away from it. So AEON, there's going to be a bit of a turnaround, I feel, coming as AEON are getting so close to getting so many of these big core items.
Wow, tsuwamon. Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 minutes ago, I think it's time for him to farm his Blink, but I did not expect it to be farmed quite this quickly, so really great job by tsuwamon, showing that patience you talked about. Lau is going to get spotted out. Will he be burst out? It looks like he will, yeah. No Chen ult this time, buddy. No mech for you. Aeon's going to be happy with that. Sounding like a bit of an Aeon homer here, but yeah, I mean, that was just too much burst damage. That's the power of that Kligs. And we'll have to see. Morphling is rushing a BKB. This is a very smart choice. He needs to have that BKB to deal with the chain stun, to deal with the silences. They do still have a Bane ult, which will go through it. But I think BKB is the correct selection here. Even though they've had some great fights, they're not out of the woods yet. They are still behind in terms of the gold and the experience. So that Chen, he's got up a Vlad's as well. He is pretty freaking farmed.
Push. This is the sort of 20-25 minute push, although they may lose Slider. I mean, taking a lot of damage, forced the Chen ulti. And, I mean, yeah, this is going to see Morphling not taking to... Well, I mean, if they have to take it to late game, because if their push fails, they will with the Morphling. But for the most part, it's going to be World Elite looking to go take barracks around 25 minutes, or at least get those 2 tier 2 towers. They've got the Aegis. They're going to have mech. They're going to have the Vlads as well. This is a lot of auras going their way. Not to mention BKB is probably the best item on Morphling to go if you're going for that 25-minute push, because it means Morphling can wave in, focus down one of the squishy support heroes. Similar, it's basically the way to deal with an Earthshaker. You just wave in, pop the BKB, and try to focus him down. You can do it with Queen of Pain, you can do it with Stormstrip, you can do it with a hero like Morphling. And we're going to see them trying to do that with this BKB on Morph as they are going to get initiated. Massive Queen of Pain ulti. They lose the Morphling. ES ulti. Slardar taking a lot of damage. They will get the ES, but it's at the cost of Slardar, who does lose the Aegis. And now World Elite, though. The Slardar will respawn, and they're going to look to keep on charging forward. Although, no, they're going to back off. Slardar's actually not all that farmed. He's not that survivable. He's only got 42 CS. 2 CS a minute, 1,500 gold with just treads and a bracer. He has not had the best of games.
Yeah, you compare that to AEON, and this is where the gold disparity is coming from. In terms of towers, I believe we're very close to being even 1-2-3, 1-2. So a 1 tower advantage for WE, but look at the farm on AEON. Every single hero, aside from Nuts, has at least... Oh, sorry, Mr. Q doesn't have farm, but at least 30 CS on everyone, and 80 for all of their core heroes or higher. 120 on Ken, 113 on that Queen of Pain. Yeah, AEON is really dominating the farm game here. That was a complete... speaking of item progressions... Or while we're on the subject of farm, Ken has that Orchid up now. That's going to be a great pickup, especially versus the Crystal Maiden, the Windrunner, the Chen. Heck, even the Slardar, if he can't use that Slither Crusher sprint, he is pretty easily brought down. I mean, he's going for the BKB. He doesn't have it yet. And you said W want to go for a timing push, but it is very hard to go for a timing push against the Sand King with the Blink Dagger. And Earthshaker, yes, maybe you can try and focus him down, but they do have the Bane ulti to lock that Morphling in place. They have the Queen of Pain with all her AoE. And if you ever have to run away from this Radiant lineup, you're screwed, because Queen of Pain, Clinks, Sand King, such great chasing heroes.
Oh yeah, and we'll get this tier 1 tower. That's a tower that's been up for a long, long time that they want to get rid of. Sankin was in the bushes, not going to find an opening, and Sankin getting close to that level 11 will want to get that before they look to engage. And with that tower, Slada has a blink, and now World Elite have that initiation thereafter. The blink on Slada, they can follow it up with a Morphling who can wave in with a BKB. That's pretty much whoever they go on, as long as they don't have some kind of escape spell, should theoretically go down, as it is going to be a tier 2 tower push. Basically, AEON are going to go for a counter push here. As long as they avoid engagement at bottom, which they're currently not doing, Bane's going to get picked off, and they should have just backed off, played it as safe as possible. Sentry Ward gets popped. They can see this Clinks. Clinks needs to be careful. He is going to get spotted. They do keep the Bane alive, but now it's Clinks who goes running, has been dusted up. Winrun needs to find a line for a shackle shot. Queen of Pain has come in, ignoring top lane. And ES with an epicenter. They may be able to hold this off. They've taken out Slada. They're going to lose Sanking as well as the Earthshaker though. And things are getting a bit pear-shaped now as Bane as well will go down. 3 kills for World Elite. And it's also Ken on the back foot. Going to go down. He is shackled. Morphling. Triple kill.
That was a perfect ultimate by the King, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough burst. That's where the Chen comes in handy with that mechanism, that ult, as well, keeping everyone alive. And that was a level 10 ult. I believe he hit level 11 after a kill. I'm almost positive it wasn't the level 11 ult. If he had it, I think we would have seen that fight go a lot differently. Earthshaker, I don't believe he had Echo Slam either. And if you combo that Echo Slam in that situation, I think it's just enough burst. But what really hurt AEON there was the fact that there was a Sentry Ward down and Clinks got zoned away so early.
Yes.
He couldn't come back in, and when he did, it was too late.
I think that was just a fight they needed to avoid. I mean, they had Queen of Pain counter pushing at top. They could have got that tier 2 tower, traded it for the tier 2 tower at bottom. They just had to avoid the fight. But Bane got found, and like you said, the Sentry Ward spotting out the Clinks. And I think the other big factor, it's been mentioned time and time again, Chen, it's just provides so much heals for his team that they do not die. And if you have 5 heroes, if 5 AEON heroes all focus one, well, Chen just has to try send them back to base, keep them alive, and then AEON in all kinds of trouble. So basically, AEON cannot risk all focus firing one hero.
Yeah, that fight, you really have to question AEON's positioning, because at the very beginning of that engagement, when we saw I'm drawing on the map right now, when we saw them coming from the tier 1 bottom, rotating in, looking for the gank opportunity, Clinks actually was standing right above that pole camp. He spotted the Chen's movement, and the whole team should have backed up. Also, tsuwamon was a little greedy, sitting on the trees down here. Oh, as I say that, Slaughter is going to get picked off. That's a big kill. Bane ult was used for that, but nonetheless, they're going to be happy about that kill, slowing down any sort of BKB progression. But yes, tsuwamon very greedy, sitting under the trees. So I question AEON's decision there to try to engage. I question the fact that they didn't fully back off, back to the safety of that tower where they're so strong with an Earthshaker, an Epicenter, as well as a Blink to work with. Nonetheless, it's not the worst thing in the world for AEON. They're not out of this yet. They're a little bit behind in the Dire, but a lot of that is tower gold. I think if this game goes late enough, even a Morphling and the Slaughter can be dealt with by the sheer, everyone on AEON scales well. Was for WE, it's really only 3 heroes, maybe 4, but that Crystal Maid did not be helpful. The Bane ult could be the difference maker here if he can get it off on one of those core heroes.
And it looks like they are going to find Crystal Maid, and they're going to find Chen as well. Bane not going to have his ulti, but they are going to lose the CM here. They just want to probably cut their losses. They can death pack one of those Chen creeps, in fact. May see Chen doing that. Queen of Pain ulti, going for this winner. Chen heal, going to try keeping alive a bit longer. It's Ken, though, who once again gets found, amped up, and picked off. Winrunner getting that kill, and World Elite losing 2, but they get the kill on Clinks, so not the worst trade for them, although they do lose their Winrunner and Crystal Maiden. They will just back off, play this a bit safer now. Maybe wait for Roshan to respawn in the next minute and a half as AEON. They want to get some more tower gold going their way, but there's going to be a TP in by the looks of things at bottom lane.
Yeah, this Earthshaker is very close to not only a Blink Dagger, but also his level 11. And against the Chen, you have to burst everyone down before Chen can pop his mechanism, can send an ally back to base, can have that Vlad's contribute to the fight, and of course the ultimate. Oh, initiation onto Fancy. They want this Morphling, but with the BKB, that's probably not the correct hero to try and gank, especially not without a full complement of heroes, so they are going to back off. It's very back and forth, but still, it seems like overall we're in a dead heat here for both teams. Gold graph, experience graph, even, and WE may have the harder carry on the Morphling, but AEON's a little bit. They've got a few more heroes that can contribute, so I'd say this could go either way, even if the game goes super late.
Well, I like AEON. the Sankey and the ES, just great team fight heroes. I mean, having those 2 AoE stuns, I mean, and Sand King a lot more mobile. ES can be a lot more devastating if he hits the Echo Slam. Queen of Pain, I mean, there's your backup carry for the Clinks, and they're going to need a backup carry for the Clinks, because, I mean, you mentioned how they can deal with Morphling and Slider in the late game, but the Dire team, they can deal with the Clinks in late game. I mean, they're going to have a lot of farm on their support heroes, because they've taken down 6 towers, they've taken down 1 Roshan, they'll probably get a second Roshan here, and with all that support gold, they can get stuff like Ghost Scepters on Crystal Maiden, as well as Chen probably, not to mention Chen is actually going to have an Aghanim Scepter coming. Windrunner can get items to help kite them around. You've got a 4 stuff there, and it's going to be really easy to kite this Clinks around, as well as have sentries and gem. They've got plenty of gold to spare between their support.
Oh, Ken once again running into the 5 enemy heroes. He's going to immediately be brought down. No! He slept at the last second. Yeah, he will go down. BKB up on the Morphling. Chana's dropping plenty low. There's the ultimate from the Chen, keeping everyone alive. And once again, Clinks goes down. It looks like AEON tried to bait the Clinks there, but running onto that hill is just such a dangerous prospect. And they wanted that Clinks bad. Double Sentry Wards immediately dropped. With that kill, they will be able to transition into the Roshan pit. Will they be able to actually take it, though? It's hard to say. AEON have smoked up. They want to go in 4v5, maybe catch WE by surprise. But if they run by these Sentry Wards, in fact, I think they just got spotted.
If WE were watching, they would have seen the Bane there, because there was a Sentry Ward and an Observer Ward, so they would have had vision, as well as the Sentry Ward to scout out the Invis, but I don't think they noticed on the minimap, and there we go. AEON know this. Epicenter, Blink, ulti, Epicenter, here's the Wombo combo. AEON tear through the entire team, although CEM somehow gets caught out of the Roche pit. Only 2 heroes going down, but still, it's a Chen and a Slider. That's a good fight for AEON, even though they do have to throw everything for it. They would have maybe liked to get the Crystal Main or the winner as well, but still, good fight. They prevent the Roshan going down.
Wombo combo is the understatement of the century. I love that phrase. Oh man, this Earthshaker Sand King, if they can get that kind of lockdown, it is just lights out for WE, especially if the BKB is not popped on the Morphling. And the Slider, I don't even know if he's going to be able to farm one this game. The King really wants Fancy at the moment, but that's just a bit too far to dive. We did get to talk about this because that huge fight just came out of nowhere right near the small camp for the Radiant. But Queen of Pain actually has a Hex picked up, and she's had it for a little while here. She opted not to go for a Lincoln Sphere. I love this decision. Actually, did she sell the Void Stone? I'm not. Oh, sorry, no. That built into the
Ring of Health.
Yeah.
No, the Ring of Health still seeing there, and it's going to be BKB next, which is another must-buy item here. You can go for BKB. Ultimately, is going to be better than the Lincolns this game against all those disables and stuns. It's just too many to just say, okay, let's just block one.
Yeah, I really love this subtle variation. It's actually, I mean, it's not that subtle, but, you know, the Perseverance really helped him out early, and, hey, you can split up that Perseverance, turn it into a Sheep Stick later on. And you're right, the BKB is going to be crucial. You still will suffer from that Slaughter amp damage. WE really want this Roshan. Will they be able to get the same? Look how many wards they have around this area. They know the Epicenter's down for the moment. They know the ES Ultimate are down, but Mr. Keo is going to do his best, at least to scout things out. Drops down a Fissure, but Roshan is dropping quite quickly. And I guess AEON are going to be forced to give this one up. That'll be an Aegis. Will it go onto the Slaughter again? It will. The Slaughter without a BKB, he needs all the help. He gets tsuwamon, gets shackled to a creep in the middle lane, and he should be okay. The allied hero's not able to get in range. As I say that, GG has other thoughts. Blink away from tsuwamon. All the while, the King pressuring in the top. He's getting very close to the BKB. That's going to be a huge pickup, potentially a tide-turning item for him. Are there any other big item progression or pickups that you're seeing? Well, Clinks has one.
Yeah, Klink's having a BKB of his own. That's what he needed that last... Well, it wouldn't have helped in that last fight, because he was running uphill into fog and just got shackled, and he would have died even with that BKB. Nothing too major on the AEON side. It's going to be the BKB that is going to be coming on the Queen of Pain. 4-star for Bane, that's actually... I mean, for something that's not a major item, that's going to help them out a lot, whoever gets focused. I mean, if, like that situation there, if Klinks gets... shackled and he's facing the right direction, you can force him alive, maybe keep him alive just a bit longer. BKB also coming for the Sand King, so this is all about the BKB against this Dire roster. As the Dire team, I mean, the problem is for them, there isn't much item progression. Slider is pretty underfarmed, pretty poor. Same even goes to the Winner, and Winner going for Drum of Endurance, going for maybe even a pipe now with this cloak, and here we go, potential engagement as King was invis. He scouted them out, and we're going to see blood being spilled here.
Oh, the King, he's going to immediately get shackled to a creep, the Echo Slam. Will Chen be able to get off his ult? He drops the ult, the Epicenter from tsuwamon again! Maybe winning the game for his team. The Slaughter goes once, Fancy pops the BKB, but there's the Bane ult holding Morphling in place, even while the BKB is up. Mr. Keo is going to usher him away. Slaughter chasing down Oh, and it looks like we might see Slaughter in some trouble. Great fissure with that sprint, taking extra damage. BKB already used on Ken. Ken is going to be forced back to sleep, holding Fancy in place, actually getting juggled onto another hero there on the Windrunners. Not Mr. Nuts, 4-step down the hill. Morphling being ushered back, and he's actually not doing too much damage, though. He's morphed heavily in strength. He's also got, what is that? The skill by Bane that reduces your damage, so he's really not hitting too hard. Ken maybe looking to go back in. Yeah. Nuts looking to do the same. They're not done just yet. Clinks is scouting them out. There's no gem. There's no detection. There is a sentry ward here on the high ground, so they will spot potentially this Clinks. They're going to go into Fancy, and the Chen heal comes out. I'm not sure if he bought back. Maybe just respawn quickly. I think that's going to be the end of the engagement. Who came out ahead there?
Well, now. For me, no one did. It was just a lot of blood's being spilled. I mean, it's just going to slow things down. It's going to make basically one of those fights which just prolongs the game. No one really got further ahead because of it. Queen of Pain, the BKB, got slowed down by a bit, but that's just going to be a situation where Queen of Pain just buckles down, gets some more farm. Queen of Pain actually just sold something. I think one of the null talismans. So BKB is actually going to be up in about 50 gold now. Manta Style finished on Morphling. Morphling not dying. That was the key thing for World Elite, but at the same time, Klink's got some kills, did not go down for the Radiant side, and I've got to say, it was just one of those really even fights, and it's just a stalemate situation which arose.
It was a very early BKB from Morphling, and so now we see it down to a 7-second duration. As these BKBs get lower and lower with their duration, they will be less effective. We also saw the potential power of the Bane in the very late game. If he's able to farm up a BKB of his own or just have fantastic positioning, he can lock down that Morphling and really punish him. They didn't even have the best focus fire on the Morphling because a couple of heroes were dead. They'd already used the big ultimates on other heroes. But this Morphling can be locked down. Do not mistake it. Even with the Chen, with the mechanism to heal, the ability to send back to base, if they can stop the Chen, they could definitely bring down Morphling. And that's not something many teams could say this late into a game. 30 minutes in, not super late, but we're getting there piece by piece. And I love AEON's farm distribution. Everyone's got something. 4 staff on Nuts, Mr. Kia with the Blink Dagger, the Arcane Boots. He's working towards an Aghanims now. The King, of course, he's quite big. BKB as well as Sight Device. And even that Sand King working towards a BKB of his own. In fact, he's got it now. Another BKB for AEON. They seem to be getting the better of the item progression war.
Oh, yeah, I have to agree with that one. I mean, Silas BKB is just so far behind, and the Dire team just as a whole, I mean, the Windrunner has not gone. I mean, this gem was going to provide them with some nice ways of dealing with Clinks, but this is where you really wish your Windrunner had something like a Sheepstick, at least nearing completion, or maybe even on your support heroes. I mean, based on all the towers that Worldly have taken, you probably want to hope to see maybe even a Ghost Scepter on a hero like Crystal Maiden, even on the Chen. Chen's got this Ogre Club, which was, I imagined, to get an Aghanim Scepter, but Aghanim Scepter at this point is nowhere in the near future and not something Chen can logistically buy. I feel like selling the Ogre Club, or at least making some room so you can get a Ghost Scepter at this point, may be the best way to play this. AEON venturing through the Dire jungle, going to get some wards up very, very offensively, and to really start looking to make sure that they are the ones with the map control. And there is, I mean, great warding from both teams at the moment. If the Dire team have one in the mid lane, where they will spot out AEON soon if they do walk past, and AEON, it looks like they will do so, as they're not finding anyone at top lane, trying to force a fight, trying to find a pick-off here, and who is it going to be?
6 wards currently on the map for WE. That is a lot, and you will see Chinese teams do this offensively when they're ahead, but when they're behind, especially you see how many wards were placed near Roshan, they really wanted to secure that. They just value vision more so than a lot of other teams. Western teams, of course, pros in general like to have their wards up, but especially these Chinese teams, no matter how far behind they will continuously place sentry wards as well as observer wards, and against a hero like Clinks, that is the price the supports have to pay. They have to spam sentry wards everywhere. Now with the gem up, they're not quite as important. Clinks has a Demon Edge as well. He's getting pretty huge here, and Clinks he is one of the stronger late game carries, although he is a bit of a semi-carry. His steroid is really fantastic. 110 damage, a bonus damage. That ultimate makes him extremely, it makes him hit even harder and quite tanky. He can scale pretty well.
Yeah, he's not as big as he'd like to be, I'd like to say. I mean, a few deaths here or there and not getting all that many kills. I mean, often you see a Clinks at this point in the game having 10 plus kills, but he has not had the best of games. I mean, if this game had gone according to plan, he would have maybe his next big item. Kingo gonna find Chen. Chen just caught all alone. Gonna mech up. Heal as well coming in. There's Slaughter. Needs a bash because the BKB have been popped. Great fissure. Hitting 3 heroes, preventing the advance. 4 staff coming out from Bane. Gonna keep himself alive. And it looks like neither team gonna commit to any kills or to any chasing. As Chen getting very low. Did force an ultimate out. And even a BKB from Queen of Pain. But once again, the stalemate, it continues. The Dire team, though, this offensive ward in the jungle really spotting out everything AEON are doing right now, and they're going to see this Demon Edge and expect either the MKB or the Daedalus to be up very, very soon.
There is a smoke on Icy, and I would not be surprised at all if Ice go for a smoke gank here. In fact, they are going to. Like you said, they have really good vision into this Radiant jungle at the moment. Hopefully Ken, for his sake, won't get caught running up that hill again. But it looks like AEON is going to transition towards top and middle, so for the moment this may be two ships passing in the night. Not actually going to see any engagement. Or at least I don't think so. WE sort of maneuvering around. They might get a good backstab off here. And if you look at AEON, they're a team that really wants to initiate with a Sand King and Earthshaker. Good position by Mr. Keo. We saw him really bail out the Queen of Pain in that last fight with that 3-hero fissure. Will he have a similarly good fissure in store? Sprint from Chad. He's looking to go in. Clinks actually pops through the strafe just for some creeps. tsuwamon, he gets initiated on. He gets caught out. They are going to bring him down, and down he goes to sleep, just not in time. AEON have to back off that. They need that epicenter to win a fight. And SK had the BKB. He just did not get a chance to use it.
Yeah, just great lockdown there, and with that, I mean, every kill just buys Waterly a bit more time. They're getting Morphling more and more farmed. He's got the Manta BKB, 2.5k gold. What is going to be next? Maybe just going for some right-click DPS, something like a Butterfly. Although, I mean, I think, actually, no, Butterfly not going to be the best option, as Clinks is going for an MKB, so hopefully it's not a Butterfly. Could go for the Ethereal Blade if he really wants to have that shotgun ability, which could be fairly useful, I mean, against the ES, as well as these other heroes who don't have BKBs, although that they are few and far between. It's just the ES and the Bane, but being able to take out one of those heroes instantly could be a nice boost to World Elite. I mean, the Bane can be very annoying with both Nightmare and the Fiend's Grip in these team fights.
Yeah, I think Ethereal Blade might be the way to go here. I mean, there's a couple of other options. He could go for an Eye of Skady, and it looks like that may be the way he's headed. There's an outside chance it could be a Lincoln Sphere, but they just have so many single target nukes. I would be shocked if it is, especially this late game of a Lincoln Sphere. Eye of Skady will give you a lot of chasing power. If you ever start to win the fight, Morphling can chase heroes down, and it is the most cost-efficient stats in the game for a hero like Morphling. He gets plus 50 total to his agility and strength between the two of them. And of course, he can reorganize them as he sees fit. WE is checking out Roshan. They're a bit early, about a minute and a half, and normally you'd expect the Chinese team to write the time down. So maybe they're just getting set up in advance, but leave you a couple creeps there. They want to make sure they get this, I believe it's a third Roshan, and there should be a cheese dropping this time around.
Yeah, there will be a cheese dropping, and that's something AEON want to try to prevent to the best of their abilities. They've got all 5 of their heroes up. They're going to start pressuring out those lanes, pushing them out as much as possible. Clinks close to his MKB. If he can have it by the time there's a fight at Roshan, that would be a great boost to their chances, although he does kind of want to have buyback, but already, I mean, he's currently not seeing on buyback. If he gets a 1500 gold, he might have buyback, but I have a feeling he just wants to get the MKB if possible, and Roshan still not up. AEON still pressuring this top lane. ES and Sanking just sitting behind, ready with their blink ultis. BKB up on Sanking. He can just be so aggressive, and even the Bane is building a BKB at this point in the game. And they spot Waterloo at bottom lane. They know this is safe. They're going to force TPs back, and that's going to delay any possible attempt at Roshan for Waterloo. And Roshan is just about to respawn as well. No TPs as of yet. There we go. The first TP coming in, and AEON going to react, going to just back off and probably try and reposition themselves near the Roshan pit, because they do not want to see Waterloo taking a free Roshan.
Well, it was actually a really nice high ground ward. I think this is at a tower range, but unfortunately they have the gem on the Windrunner, so that was spotted and dewarded. It was just sort of north of the tower in that little nook up there. Yeah, great job. That is one way to deal with the Roshan attempt, is just to pressure that top lane. And if you can push the lane fast enough, you can at least stall it. But WE is going to be transitioning back. This is buying time for Ken. He's so close to that MKB. And one thing, I'm not sure if you caught it, they actually had a gank attempt on the bottom lane. I think Slaughter just got a little bit, you know, like he was just a little bit too jumpy, premature. He used his Blink Dagger, but wasn't able to get range of Ken on that Clinks, and Clinks just immediately windwalked and backed off. So a failed gank opportunity. If they had killed Clinks, they might have even been able to go defend top and then go straight into Roshan. Like you said, there's no buyback. tsuwamon getting shackle shot, caught out again. Will he go down? No BKB. He could have popped it there. I think that's a big blunder, and now AEON are fully on the back foot. So a few bad positions can completely turn the tides of the game. Another shackle shot, this time not going to latch, and they're going for Roshan. The King and Ken. MKB has picked up. Look how fast Clinks is bursting this down. WE sends something is up. They are going to charge into the pit, and AEON may just be getting caught in a horrible position. BKB popped by Ken. BKB is popped by the King as well. Will they be able to bring down the Snow Roshan? I think they're just going to feed one to WE, and that's going to be an Aegis of the Cheese, as well as 2 BKB charges wasted. tsuwamon getting caught off. As great as he played in that game number 1, just not playing well here. Game number 2, shackle shot. What a long range shackle, not going to hit on the King. Ken going to try and force some TPs back, or at least rotation back. And the king looking to TP away. Will he be able to get up? No, he does not. The stud, and they can't get to him for the moment. Another blink away. The king still being spotted. Are they going to continue to chase? Meanwhile, Clinks is pressuring that middle lane. No BKB. Windrunner's forcing him back. Will the king actually go down? He will finally go down. A pretty high-level nuke there coming out from the Chen. And Ken not able to punish them. Not really able to do enough damage to these towers. And they get another kill. AEON, it feels like they're slipping here a little bit in terms of their composure, in terms of their positioning. tsuwamon cannot be in the front lines. And if he gets caught, he's got to be spamming that hotkey for the Black Cane bar. Just too slow to react.
It really feels that there's just pickoffs happening one by one, and all of them are going in Water League's favor. I mean, sure, the farm and the towers is remaining very, very even. I mean, the XP and gold is still in AEON's favor, but it's all these recent pickoffs. All the opportunities seem to go in Water League's way, and AEON, there just doesn't appear to be any opening for them to actually take a tier 3 tower, take a Rax, whereas Water League, just finding pickoffs here and there, and as soon as they get as soon as one of these pickoffs turns into 2 or 3 heroes being picked off, that's when we're going to see Water League taking a potential Rax.
It's also an Iveskady for the Morphling, who now has a Cheese, a BKB, a Manta, and an Iveskady, and now Morphling is the most farm carry on the map, the most dangerous carry on the map. Even Clinks is going to have to be fearful for his life. Especially if Strafe is down, whereas Morphling is pretty much equally powerful no matter what. He doesn't rely on that buff to keep him online, as well as tsuwamon played in that last game. He has died 8 times this time around, and it feels to me like maybe AEON is getting a bit tired. It's been a long and I'm sure emotional day for them. Dropping a quick 2-0 to Tongfu, then having to wait around a bit with some lag problems here and there. A very challenging game one, which they pulled out on the back of that Pudge, as well as all the great play with that generally aggressive pushing ganking strategy. Yeah. They are going to go for a smoke here. If they can win this gank, get a couple of key kills, they could definitely look to turn that into some racks. All the tier 3 towers are exposed, so here we go. Ken leading the way with that BKB. tsuwamon hopefully tucked back in the rear, not going to get caught out first. W have the high ground advantage. The Kane is actually going to be in front. He does have the Hex for that instant lockdown. Do World Elite spot this? Yes, they might get the Windrun. She's been such a nuisance. Silenced up. BKB, the ulti immediately. Chen heal, not going to be enough. 2 pickoffs, and the Aegis are gone. Will they retreat out? Will they continue to fight? Morphling is getting locked down for the moment by tsuwamon. And it looks like...
They also killed the gem.
Oh, they did get the gem.
They killed the gem quite importantly. So there's no gem to help do this thing. They can maybe buy a new one, but for the most part, that's one less thing World Elite have to do with this Clinks.
So with that pickoff, what is it going to amount to? Windrunner, she does not have the buyback, but it's just not enough. Even with the Windrunner dead, they still have the... I feel like they really need to kill either the Morphling or the Slardar to be able to go high ground here. Or if not that, they have to kill probably both of the supporting cast, especially that Chen. Even at this stage of the game, his ability to keep allies alive is such a nuisance. And another smoke gank from World Elite. They've been very reliant on these smoke ganks to help get them back into the game. To punish bad position. And speaking of bad position, it is Mr. Keo. Is he going to get caught out again? Oh, they chant Totem actually randomly stunning Slardar, but I don't think it's going to matter. Mr. Keo, he will go down. Wicked sick is fancy, and this Earthshaker, also no buyback, at least not for 30 seconds. Will that 30 seconds be long enough for World Elite to claim a Rax? Maybe not, but they may be able to get a tier 3. They're grouped up bottom. They're going to go for the push. Windrunner is mid. Pops the Windrun. Trying just to catch up, push out this middle lane. They will be going for the tower here without that Windrunner if they attempt it, and that's a pretty dangerous thing to do. Is World Elite actually going to go high ground? Morphling pops the Manta. He's going to start working on the tower, doing a lot of damage. Where is the Epicenter? tsuwamon is top right now. Epicenter cooling down in 2 seconds. I expect the TP back any moment. He's only got 400 mana, so he needs to start at the fountain. The tower is going to go down. They're losing the Rax here. They have to defend. Buyback from Mr. Keo. He really didn't want to do that, but he had no choice. The Mantolutions continue to siege it down. Here come the Chen creeps. Every last bit is being thrown. These racks are exposed. They are low. Even if World Elite backs off now, I think they'll be happy. As the next time they get even a single hero, they can easily get the racks. But maybe they're not done yet.
Yeah, they're going to lurk around looking for a pickoff maybe. And that tower is in there. They are going to pipe up. We're going to see it blinking, I think, from Starter looking to engage. Oh, just a free racks. Okay. Okay. Nothing quite that exciting. Nothing quite. Been anticlimactic, but there's been plenty of action in these 2 games. Shackleshot going to find the Queen of Pain. But it looks like World Elite just going to use that to go on the back foot here, back off as much as possible. And they've taken a Rax. They've put on some pressure. They're quite happy to back off, go farm a bit, and maybe, as long as it sounds, wait the full 5 minutes for Roshan to respawn again so they can get another Aegis in their hands.
I mean, World Elite, they're not known for being an aggressive team. Sometimes we'll see that calculated early game aggression, but they're not going to play balls to the wall like AEON did. And hey, if you can secure a trip to the International, who can blame anyone for doing whatever it takes to win these games? As long as they're not cheating, anything is fair game. If they want to wait for that Aegis, it is certainly an option for them. This Morphling is...
this Clinks is getting big, though.
Yeah.
This Clinks has got a crit now as well as
wow.
the MKB, so he's going to be hitting hard. If he can get the Daedalus, he can then maybe just right-click down the Morphling. Even the BKB, those crits are going to be doing over 1k damage. And if Morphling is low on Agi, trying to do as much DPS as possible, he's going to be very squishy.
Yeah, Morphling is really not the best single target DPS. Oh, Windrunner is going to be sent back to base. She'll be okay. Epicenter just for that Windrunner. Oh, that's a big waste, and now AEON is going to have to back off. As I say that, they may have other plans. King gets... Oh, he's got the BKB. He pops it at the perfect time there. Sleep onto the Slaughter. Blink away from the Queen of Pain. Ken has not used his BKB yet. There goes the Bane ult. How has he gotten it off for so long? That's pretty surprising. Big Echo Slam from Mr. Q. The ult to follow. This is where you really want that Epicenter to burst everyone down. BKBs left and right. BKBs everywhere. Will anyone go down? So far, it looks like nobody will after all. Oh, sorry, nobody important, I should say, aside from that Queen of Pain. Yeah, a couple of heroes did die. Windrunner out of position. Will she finally die? Yes, she will. Blinking. Tsuwamon will get picked up. There's that Clink. Doesn't need a Daedalus, apparently. Immediate buyback from Morphling. These Chinese teams, they always save for buyback on their carries. Buyback from Tsuwamon as well. His ult is on cooldown for a while,
He's just going to defend now. But, I mean, there's a 3v2 at top. Slaughter is low. Slaughter does have buyback gold. They're going to, look for the Morphling. Not going to latch on. And Slaughter going to maybe return fire. He's blinked in with a stun. This looks like another kill for the Morphling. Going to pop down the Earthshaker as Slaughter in trouble of going down. Ken, he's not going to... Oh, he does. He gets a kill with the Orchid bonus damage. Slaughter has buyback if needed, but he'll probably just save that gold for now. But I'd say that's a good fight for AEON. I mean, that's going to be a boost to their confidence. They didn't win that fight, but they came out pretty much on equal terms, even with World Elite having the cheese on their side as well as a couple buybacks. So that just goes to show AEON can still win these fights. They picked off the CM and the Chen, the two squishy support heroes early on. They lost that Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain has stayed alive. Queen of Pain would have been there to help deal with those sort of Morphling and Slaughter at the end with the Sheepstick. And also, Queen of Pain doing some nice DPS with this MKB as well. So things, I mean, are still looking all right for AEON. This game is still very much in the balance.
Yeah, this is what we discussed a lot earlier. If it went late, AEON had... Well, they may not have that single hero that's just outrageously strong, like an Anti-Mage or a Morphling, as a sole carry. They don't have to do it alone. They have a lot of backup. Even the support heroes like the Earthshaker and the Bane, some of the very best support heroes that have at this stage of the game. And that Clicks, man, he's just about got that Daedalus. I'm going to disagree with you just a touch. I think AEON won that fight because Morphling was forced to buy back, and that's going to stall the item progression of a Morphling who's being asked to shoulder a massive, massive load, especially as this game goes later. There's no Hex up on the Windrunner. No late-game Hex is going to be a big loss for this team. You really want to have something like that, and the Slaughter, he's just so far behind. I feel like 90% of the games I watch with Slaughter, unless it's just a total stomp with a really fast blink, like what we saw from Tongfu, the item progression never seems to be there because Slaughter just has to sit in the middle of everything. He more so than even other initiators, and of course that sprint making him take extra damage. He's dying a lot. He's not getting the farm he would like to have.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's picking up a plate mail now. He's not even going to worry about having buyback, and this is going to be World Elite going all out. They're not going to have buyback for a good 3 minutes on this Morphling. Like you said, that probably does give AEON the edge, and they're going to look to push again before Roshan respawns. Roshan is respawning in about a minute's time, and if World Elite get that, then they are in a good position to just stall the game out, have buybacks, and just be in a situation where they have cheese and ages, not just cheese and ages, but even if they lose a fight, then next fight they'll have buyback. So the game will just go on for a long, long time, and World Elite will just be sort of slowly chipping away at AEON's hopes by taking down maybe a tier 3 tower hero there, taking down a Rax hero there, or even just forcing heroes on the AEON side to buy back as well. And just basically with cheese and ages, you can just so easily outfarm them. But Roshan is not up for a good minute or so, and AEON are at the top lane, so this is a big time for World Elite. They have to decide, do we wait, or they're going to have to get top, and they're going to have to try to protect their Rax, and that is what AEON want. They're going to prevent them from going for Roshan, at least right now.
There's that Daedalus on the Clanks. He's going to be hitting really hard. He doesn't actually have a big creep right now, but it's so hard to go for on the stage of the game. Replicate, I think they hexed that. Yeah, nice job, just immediately removing out that very irritating Slardar image. Bottom lane is starting to push in, so WE might be able to turtle this up, and once that bottom lane pushes in, then they can transition towards Roshan. If you're Aeon, perhaps you're content to give up these smaller buildings, maybe even take some damage on your throne towers, if it means preventing that Roshan. Shackle Shot is going to start it off on the Kane. Will this be a full initiation? No, it will not. This shows you how badly WE don't want to fight right now. Normally if you shackle... Oh, he's soloing
Roshan. I like this decision, because his team can stall this. And the thing is, Aeon will see 4 heroes here and think, okay, they can't be at Roshan. This is so smart. There's even a Chen creep there helping out, although it's not really tanking. There, it's going to start tanking now. Morphling actually waving out. Oh, he got scared. The Aeon heroes went missing and he did get scared, although they're going to go in and take Roshan now. But they're going to see Queen of Pain as well as tanking at bottom. They know Roshan is entirely safe, although Clinks is scouting it out. Clinks, who's doing a massive amount of DPS. Clinks actually gets spotted by those wards. Same goes for Bane. This is not looking like a good position for Aeon to be in. The blink, the crush, Bane in all kinds of trouble. Forces out, gonna go down to the right click of Morphling, and now we'll see World Elite getting a free Roshan. Nothing to stop them, except maybe there is. I mean, they're looking to head towards the Roshan pit, but they're just gonna go down so fast and be so risky to engage him, but they're going to make a play for it. BKB from King, but look at that right-click damage. The right-click from Morphling with the amp damage. In goes Sand King. Epicenter does absolutely nothing. Ken doing down to right-click damage as well. 2 big kills for World Elite. Make it 3. They lose the Sand King as well. ES, the only one left standing. A blink out with a TP. He's going to survive, dodge that crush, but this could be the end for Aeon now. How many buybacks do they have? It looks like Queen of Pain has 1. Clinks does not. Sand King does not. Oh no, Sand King just has enough. He's just ticked over. But still, no buyback on Clinks. This, and not to mention the Cheese and Aegis. I don't know. Do Aeon have any chance at all left?
That was a real disjointed fight for Aeon, and Clinks in particular, he never popped Strafe in that fight. He's also, I don't think he's using Death Pact on these Chen creeps. He really should be. The Chen creeps have a larger HP pool, so they give even more damage than a standard big creep. And frankly, I still feel Clinks can go toe-to-toe with the Morphling. He wasn't amped in that fight. He just got scared and ran away, but ultimately for Aeon, I feel like they didn't have the target selection they needed. They were a bit all over the place, and against this WE lineup, you need to focus. You need to focus someone down, whether it's the Chen, the Windrunner, those supporting heroes that are so important, or if you're going to go for the big guns like the Morphling and the Slardar. So a bit of indecision there. Maybe there's some confusion in the team chat. Either way, yeah, I'm not sure they have enough left in the tank at this point. They're going to lose 2 sets of racks. The dire advantage working in W's favor. Everyone is respawning. If by some miracle they team wipe WE, even then there's buybacks. I just think this is going to be a slow but steady loss from here on out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With the double racks, with the Aegis, with the Cheese, it is just... I mean, I'd like to give Aeon a chance. They're going to play this out for as long as possible. I mean, it's not entirely over. It's one of those things where if World Elite really fumble this one, they can lose it if they feed away a few silly deaths. But it's not something that I expect from a team of World Elite's caliber.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So after all of this back and forth, a big team fight at Roshan, finally that huge gold lead the Radiant had. Well, at this point, it's not that big of a differential, but it has been for a lot of the game. It's not looking so big anymore. In fact, they're only about 6k, maybe 5k ahead. At this stage of the game, that means nothing. Experience graph, that's pretty irrelevant at this point. Any big item pickups? Well, I noticed the Morphling has more money than God at this point. With the Aegis, actually he bought something. What's being flown out to him? A Reaver?
Satanic,
oh, there's
maybe?
a Satanic. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's another life for a Morphling who already has so many.
Yeah.
You know, Satanic kind of looks like Abyssal Blade, at least on first glance. I don't know why, but I always get confused when I see it.
I do as well. And it does have the green background, but it does not... I don't even know what it looks like. It looks like... I don't like how it looks. It's one of the few items I'm just thinking, that's a bit weird. I have Skadi with the white background. Looks very different, but I actually like how it looks, even though it stands out maybe a bit too much. I really like how it looks, but...
Yeah, I agree.
It is one of those weird items.
It's definitely, well, hey, I have Scotty's one of the hardest items to farm in the game, so maybe it should look a little something special. World Elite are they actually going to push? At some point, I hope. I hope we're not going to see World Elite. I hope we're not going to see them wait for Aeon to make a mistake, because, frankly, 2 lanes of Rax and Aegis of Cheese ahead, a max inventory Morphling. this is the time to recognize you have an advantage and go for it. But if they want to farm, want to play it safe, it's certainly an option, and we both know just how safe World Elite like to play.
Oh yeah, they are one team who do not care if this game takes 2 hours to win. If it takes them 2 hours, they will spend the 2 hours. That is how professional and just how much they focus the importance on just ensuring that win more than anything. I mean, that is just how they play. That's how they build themselves as a team, and that's how they were built up as players. So that is how they're going to do this. And they may even they're going to be waiting for either a smoke gank, maybe Slardar to finish this assault cuirass. There is a smoke coming out on the courier. It looks like there's an Aghanim Scepter almost finished. Aghanim Scepter is finished for Chen if he wants to buy that, although that's an item which is not going to have a massive impact on this game, although the short cooldown is nice. It's basically still only you get to use it once, maybe twice in a team fight. It's rare that you do get to use it a second time, except on those extended sort of scrappy team fights. But smoke as well as Aghanim Scepter coming for Chen, and we're going to see them maybe look for that gank now. Are they going to use that smoke? Are they going to find an opening here?
If World Elite take this game, going into game number 3, they've relied so heavily on smoke ganks to keep them in the game, and I feel like AEON they had this game, maybe not in the bag, but they had the advantage, and they could have taken it with just a slightly more disciplined play. I wonder if we're going to see more warding, more gems, or maybe an early gem like the Chinese teams like to do, because it wasn't just the smokes, it was also the ward here in the jungle, the sentry wards layered all over the towards the Roshan pit. World Elite just seemed to have better vision for most of the game, and even when AEON had that really strong lead, they didn't get quite as many wards up as you would maybe see a Chinese team do, so perhaps that's an adjustment we can expect from them. I guess I'm wondering, how will AEON adapt? Will they adapt, or are they just going to sort of go with the same playstyle next game? It's not over yet, folks, though, and perhaps I shouldn't be talking quite like it is. It's just going to be very tough here, and the Slardar smoked inside the enemy base, in position to initiate. We're going to see one last epic base defense. WE smoke will end, and actually they're just gonna tease us and taunt us with that possibility. Slardar was like just out of smoke dispelling range, and then he decides to walk back. They're just gonna farm the enemy jungle. This is
such an exciting game. I mean, earlier on there was just some fantastic moments where it was really in the balance, but this is the point where it's this just very slow, painful death for AEON, which you can see it coming now. The excitement from this game is somewhat gone, but it's just a matter of running through the motions for World Elite to actually win this one. There may be a few kills left for AEON to get, but ultimately they can't really win this one, I've got to say.
There's a late game hex up on the Sand King, so that's a couple of hexes on their side to work with. A lot of BKBs as well. Still no BKB on the Bane, and I think that's a pretty important item that they would like to have had. Because with that BKB, you can really hold the Morphling in place. Probably your most reliable way to do so, even if he pops his BKB. It's a bit of a shame. Looks like they might look to pick up a DD rune here. With that DD rune, it could be an opportunity to push. What Morphling could do here is set up a replicate. Oh, he's actually not going to do it. I was going to say he could send a replicate in, and at the last second pick the DD up so it's available for the full duration during the push fight. But, just a minor little bit. He's not going to opt for it, and hey, he probably doesn't need to.
Yeah. Has he got a replicate bottom? They could just go for the split push with Morphling at bottom, or have 5 at bottom with a replicate top, and then Morphling just go focus down those Raxes. I mean, they can get those towers and Raxes so damn fast, even with the glyph up, while the other 4 heroes win the team fight. But we're going to see them look for this engagement now, and this should be the crushing blow. The stun going to hit the ES. BKB Morphling. Look at how much damage he does. There's no way Ken can find the epicenter from Sand King. Most of these Dire heroes by now have BKBs, not to mention the heals. They do take out Morphling once, though. He's going to respawn. And he's got the Aegis, not to mention should have buyback gold. He's got a buyback as well if needed, and we'll see him buying back, probably buying some boosted travels just to get back to the fight if needed. But it looks like World Elite are going to just completely overwhelm AEON with too many buybacks, too much farm, and I don't know. It's just all over by now. I've got to say, nothing left in the tank for AEON.
Well, right as you say that, Ken has something to say about that, but yeah, this Morphling is just a bit too tanky. Are they really going to No, great Slithering Crush on 3 there from Slardar, and it looks like World Elite are poised to take this game. Nuts on the back foot, he will go down. Ken TP's in, they don't actually see him. Oh, a 3-hero Burrow Strike, that might be what they need. There's the Hex on the Fancy, and in fact, he's going to survive. Great 4-step out. There's that Windrunner utility coming handy. Has Shackle Shot on 2 as well. Ken pops his BKB. Finally, he just can't bring down the Morphling. He wasn't even using the Satanic. That was just the raw right click. Even with 4,000 health, no agility there. It was so close for AEON so many times this game. It just wasn't enough. They almost made it. They almost made a go of it there. But even if they got those kills, you have to keep in mind Morphling, Windrunner, even the Chen, the Slardar, and maybe every single hero in buyback. There was no way they were gonna turn that into a base push. But they made it exciting.
Oh yeah, that was one last hurrah, and I'm sure the fight itself was quite close. I mean, it wasn't. The thing is, ultimately, even if they win that fight, they're still going to lose that game. It's just World Elite will just, even if it goes terribly wrong for World Elite, they just play safe until Roshan respawns, then have another go and just slowly formulate a strategy where they're just slowly strangling the life out of AEON. And we are going to have a game 3 though, so that I am excited about, and I'd love to see what AEON are going to bring out in this game number 3, as they need to find some way of drilling with World Elite, who just execute and make such smart decisions in the late game scenario.
I go back to the draft, and the Windrunner Chen, especially some of those shackle shots, and the Chen. I mean, I said I thought it might be giving away too much to give away those 2 heroes, and I still maintain that giving World Elite 2 heroes like that, who they really know how to take advantage of, it's a lot. And as well as AEON played, it's so easy to slip up a single shackle shot on even 1 hero, let alone 2. Chen said he had ally back to base, the early ganks from him, the early pressure from him. It's much easier for those heroes to come back, to have a good start. It's so hard to push against them. And maybe we'll see at least one of those heroes either being banned or picked up by AEON. But guys, that's going to do it for game number 2. World Elite ties it up. We're about to head into game number 3. Don't go anywhere. This is a game you will not want to miss. And hopefully it'll be just as exciting, just as tense as the first 2 games we've cast here today.